Welcome to Old Stuff Show. Today we're looking at our thrift store vintage haul and want to talk a little bit, start off about thrift stores. Sometimes people see thrift stores as really containing not much more than a lot of junk stuff, but I think the secret of dealing with thrift stores is that you have to really be patient and you have to have a good eye. And so in the last couple of weeks, just going to a few thrift stores, I've found some very, very, very good things. And so I want to share with you the good thrift store finds that I've recently obtained. So we'll just take a little walk around here and we'll take a look at some of the things and talk about them. So these three items on the couch here are a good representation of how patience can pay off. This one here is quite unique. It's 1911 Lord's Prayer, very unique illustrations and kind of a one of a kind. And so I walked into the thrift store, and the big thing about having patience and walking into the thrift store is you really have to look everywhere. And so if you don't look up, you might miss some things. This happened to be on a top shelf, kind of hidden away. I look up and I see it, and I bring it down, and I realized, wow, this is a pretty unique piece. So 1911, paid $10 for it. Probably, I will get quite a bit more for it. Then on to another thrift store, and this painting and the prints, actually this print by the same artist. But what's kind of interesting is that, and they are original because the pieces are separate from the background there, and the caribou run in this case, and the could be a polar bear hunt. In this case, very, very interesting, and dated 1905. So I've tried to do some research on these, and I haven't been able to. The name is really very difficult to see. But back to the thrift store, this particular store really had a lot of kind of very junky stuff. And I noticed some art tucked away in a little corner, and I pulled these two out, and $5 each, but could have some big potential in terms of value. I'm still checking them out. But again, two items which I think are quite unique pieces of art for $10. It's all a matter of being persistent, being patient, and going through the store a little bit at a time. The other thrift store that I recently visited was full of all kinds of stuff, and I got a lot of paper ephemera at this store, but I did get this basket also in great shape, tomato basket, and so things like that people use to decorate, put things in, whatever, but was very happy to get it. Again, $10, and lucky me. In the paper area, in the ephemera area, really like the two magazines celebrating in 1968 Man on the Moon. One is Look magazine, the other is Life magazine, and so in great shape, and always good to find stuff like that you can look at history in its original form in magazines. This is kind of an interesting little piece. It's just a piece out of a newspaper, but it's advertising from a department store, and again, talking about specials, and you get a look at the prices and that type of thing. And also kind of interesting is the delivery, mail order service. So that was a way of, as I said there, making satisfied customer. In the one thrift store, I obtained numerous maybe 50 car catalogs, car brochures. Pulled out the ones that I thought were ones that were interesting because we don't hear about them anymore. This is a 1968 Mercury. We have a 1982 Citation, 1981 Corolla. This I thought was kind of interesting, the Cortina, which was a German car in the 60s, and also the AMC Spirit Concorde. So things like that, getting things like that are kind of really interesting. A few more up here. Again, another Mercury Marquis, the 77 Cordoba Chrysler, and the Volare, and the Granada, Ford Granada, and the Chevy Malibu from '81. This is kind of an interesting one, the 76 Chevelle, quite a popular car, common car at the time. The same with the Acadian in 1981, and the 77 Mercury Cougar. So to have those kinds of brochures is all in one collecting spot is quite unique. I'm always after postcards, of course, and I'm always looking for postcards that these came up in the same thrift store that are interesting. Anything that has interesting illustrations, or in this case, if it relates to the railway, his railway station in Manitoba, that's always very important. And then, of course, just attractive postcards with people and sometimes humor, and buildings that may no longer be around. So it's always fun to get a few postcards each time I get into a thrift store, but they're difficult to find in good condition. This is kind of an interesting little treasure, also from the same thrift store. It's a cup with a headdress, a native person with a headdress on. Always very collectible. And of course the carnival glass. Who can forget about the old days when you went to the carnival, and these were prizes that you could win doing a variety of different things. I think the two glasses go with the jug, or it could be just two separate glasses and a vase. I'm not exactly sure, but they're in great condition and got them for a good price. Chalkware. Chalkware is so interesting in that you can get it. It's not necessarily in the greatest shape, but people do buy it. They like to find different pieces of chalkware, so these lovebirds certainly would be attractive to somebody who's into the chalkware collecting. And these two pieces were, again, looking in the thrift store. If you don't look up, I looked up, and these were up quite high on a wall, and quite unique. Very, very, very interesting pieces. So I suppose I could sell them together or apart, but they look like they do go together. And then in the unique little area here, we've got the little celluloid babies, and there's all kinds of them here. So that's always fun to find. And people who collect celluloid or who collect old dolls would be interested in that. I'm always on the hunt for books. So Tom Swift books are especially collectible, and they run maybe around $10 each. But getting them in good condition is a challenge, and this happens to be in real good condition. And then, of course, the old cowboy books. Here's a Gene Autry book in great condition, and again in the 50s, the cowboys were popular on television, and young boys used to get their cowboy hats and their little cap guns and so on. You know, Gene Autry, Roy Rogers. So this was all from 3 different thrift stores, and again, I just want to emphasize how important it is to take your time. Don't underestimate the value of things that are in thrift stores. Make sure you look around, look up. Don't draw conclusions before you go through the whole place, because sometimes there's hidden treasures there. And that was the case with those things. And then, of course, over here with these pieces of art, I have this feeling that they're quite interesting, quite valuable, going back to 1905, and they are original. I can see that. And then, of course, looking up, as I did, and discovering the framed Lord's Prayer, beautifully illustrated. So all of these things all came from 3 different thrift stores, and overall, were not all that expensive. So I think thrift stores are a great place to look, to find treasures at a reasonable price, and I try to do that on a regular basis. So that's my haul to share with you today. We're going to wrap it up, and I hope that you have as much luck as I do at thrift stores. Give it a try. You never know what you're going to find. Also, a lot of these things will be on eBay. Check out my eBay site. The instructions to find that is at the end of the video here today. And have fun on the hunt. And thanks for watching today. Bye for now.